Spotify personal podcasts, the plain version. Picture the pile on your desk or your desktop, the quarterly report you've meant to read for 2 weeks, the 3 PDFs a colleague sent, the page of saved links. You fully intend to read all of it, but getting through that stack requires an uninterrupted hour, and that hour never seems to materialize, so the pile just sits there. This week, Spotify announced a tool built specifically for that backlog. It doesn't teach you to read faster. Instead, it changes when and where your reading actually gets done. Here is the shape of it. I'll explain what this tool is, and then we will walk through the 3 practical habits that make it useful. Stay with me for the 3rd habit. That is the one that takes recurring reading off your list for good. The core attention here is just a scheduling conflict. This new workflow stops forcing you to find desk time and starts using the commute time you already spend. So what is it? Spotify Personal Podcasts is a feature that turns your own material into a spoken word audio episode. This flow graphic shows how it works. You hand the system a dense report, PDFs, web links, or notes, and it builds a single episode. With explicit consent, it also draws on your calendar and inbox. That episode lands right in your library. That episode is entirely private to you. It sits next to the music and the shows you already play, and it syncs across your phone and your computer. There are 2 ways to access it. Premium listeners will see the in-app feature rolling out next month, while the standalone desktop app, called Studio by Spotify Labs, is going into preview across more than 20 countries now. You don't have to adopt a completely new productivity app. The intelligence is integrated directly into a platform you probably already open every day. Now let's look at how to use it well. Habit 1. Feed it the pile you keep meaning to read. Take whatever has been sliding off your schedule and hand it over. The dense reading that previously required you to sit quietly at a desk becomes something you can simply press play on. You are translating a static, high-friction task into a fluid, passive activity. It fits perfectly into a walk, a workout, or a train ride. You haven't magically added a new hour to your day. You have solved the time deficit by piggybacking complex reading onto time you were already spending in transit. Habit 2. Commission the exact episode you want. An episode isn't a fixed output. You shape its structure. This layout shows the initial parameters you set. You dictate the target length and the editorial angle. You can ask for a quick 5-minute explainer to get oriented, or a longer deep dive for a long drive. Once you establish the angle, you select a specific delivery voice that you actually enjoy listening to. Then you enter a refinement loop. You review the initial output in a back-and-forth dialogue with the AI agent, giving it corrective feedback until the result lands exactly right. Tell it to make it shorter, spend more time on section 2, or skip the background entirely because you already know it. Your role changes here. You are no longer passively consuming whatever an algorithm spits out. You are acting as an executive producer, commissioning a bespoke audio show for an audience of 1. Habit 3, and the one I asked you to wait for, put it on a schedule. A lot of reading isn't a one-off event. It comes back around. Think of the standard Monday briefing, or a weekly update tracking a specific competitor in your market. You set up the mechanical parameters one time, establish a daily or weekly cadence, and the tool will automatically pull the data and build the episode on time. Staying current stops being a chore that relies on your memory. It becomes a frictionless, automated background process that simply hands you the final result. Let's look at the concrete payoff. Tonight, you hand over that dense quarterly report and specify exactly what you want. Tomorrow morning, you have a 10-minute episode ready for your drive-in. This comparison illustrates the shift. On the left, the old method demands your eyes, a desk, and total silence. On the right, the new method only requires your ears and whatever transit time you already have. The bottleneck holding you back was never a lack of curiosity. Your desire to read and learn was always there. The actual barrier was the format. Dense pages require a desk and silence, and those are 2 resources in critically short supply during a normal working week. Personal Podcasts doesn't read for you, and it doesn't decide what matters. You are still fully in charge of where your attention goes, and you choose what is worth processing. By changing the delivery format, you regain control over your intellectual intake. You guarantee that the information you need to know seamlessly fits the time you actually have.